Hello, all. I am Corion, your witch in residence here on YouTube. Welcome to the Sunday Sermon. This is going to be a place where I get to talk about morality, ethics, and current events. And while I'm going to try to not get too preachy, I'm going to use my perspective as a British traditional witch to influence what I'm trying to teach. Before I get too deep into my sermon today, I'm going to ask that while you watch and consider my words, see if I've earned a like and possibly a subscribe from you. With that obligatory ritual out of the way, I'd like to tell you a story. A priestess welcomed 3 students into the temple. The first and oldest of the students was just about to graduate. The second had studied for a few years, and the third was young and had just started his studying. In the center of the temple, on a table, the priestess had put a large 4-weight plate scale. Then, out of her robe, she put several weights on the plates. She placed the weights unevenly, and the scale was tipped heavily to one plate. Once set, the priestess said, "Here is time 1." She then gave a brief pause. "It is now time 2. I have 3 challenges for you. If you complete the first challenge, I will use my influence to complete your training right now and make you a full priest. If you complete the second challenge, I will grant you 1 wish that is within my power to grant. Finally, if you complete the third challenge, I will give you 2 weeks off your temple responsibilities. First challenge, I need you to balance time 1. Second, you need to balance time 2. Final challenge, I need you to balance time 3. The young student asked, "Lady, when is time 3? The priestess smiled. "Sometime from now." The second student went up to the scales and moved the weights around, removing from the full plate, taking some from the second of the other plates, and adding. But the weights wouldn't balance due to the weights being used. They were uneven. It wobbled about, but was not totally off balance. The second student said, "I've balanced this as best I can. I won the first challenge." The priestess frowned. "It is now time 2. You have partially balanced the scales, but you did not balance them at 1. The student then said, "The first challenge is impossible. You cannot balance the past." The priestess smiled. "You are correct." The older student then said, "The challenge I want to win is impossible. The second challenge is pointless, as I want nothing. And the third is useless to me, as I have no duties I wish to be free of. May I go?" The priestess nodded yes, and he left, and went about his day. The second student then said, "Well, the second challenge is impossible too. The weights will never combine into balance, and I'm fine with a little imbalance. May I be excused?" The priestess nodded, and he left. The third student started working on the problem, and spent the night in the temple. The priestess had gone to bed, and by morning, a young priest had come along and found the third student still working on the problem. The priest watched the third student a while, getting angrier and more frustrated, and finally asked, "Can you help?" The priest nodded. "I checked if I can, and you may ask for help." The student then explained, "I know I can never fix the imbalances of the past. I cannot balance the plates by taking from the plates now. How am I to balance now and for the future?" The priest smiled, said a magic word, and slammed his foot on the stone floor, shattering a tile. He took the pieces and added to all 4 plates until they all balanced. The student looked astonished. "You balance them by adding to each?" The priest nodded. "We balance the scales by adding what's missing to each till all are in harmony." The student frowned. "All the weights don't look alike. I know they're balanced, but they look different." The priest smiled. "In time, new pieces will weather and look like the old. You have to steward the scales, adding and shaping as needed till time 3 comes. That's your responsibility." These 3 students each start believing the task of balancing the scales will bring them some sort of personal benefit. And in some way it will. But the question of the puzzle's solution leads us to ponder the solvability of larger issues, and should we solve them? Would we like a balanced world? Or would we like the second student, just be happy with balanced enough? I don't have the answers for you. For me, though, when I find a puzzle like the third student, I have trouble letting go. I ask you to take your time and consider these words. If you'd like to discuss them, please leave a comment. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. The sermon is ended. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.